Hey friend, I'm Tiffany Harelik, and my platform offers astrology training for spiritual development students. And today we're going to do a short lesson on the final dispositor. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, welcome back. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't seen the lesson on ruling planets, you may want to check that one out because you will need to know ruling planets in order to work with your final dispositor. So this lesson is inspired real quick by Joni video called Dispositors, the Heart and Soul of a Planet. And just a heads up, Joni does Vedic astrology. I do Western evolutionary astrology, but dispositors work the same way. So the final dispositor is kind of like the CEO of the chart. It represents a point of like integration and coherence where all roads lead to that one final energy. It's an overriding energy. And not all charts have them, and some charts have multiple, and some charts have a series. So some charts, they're all different. And so I'm going to show you today a short lesson just on the final dispositors. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. A dispositor is a planet that rules the sign that another planet is in. And so that is what I'm going to show you here. Perfect. All right, so let's get cooking. Yes, so for example, if you have Mars in Taurus, right, you're going to look to the natural ruler of Taurus to understand what planet is the disposits Mars. Okay, so Venus is ruled by Taurus, therefore Venus is the dispositor of Mars. Does that make sense? So I'm going to say it again. If you have Mars in Gemini, for example, right? Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini. Therefore, Mercury disposits Mars. Okay, so let's see if we can get a visual on it. Oh, I was going to tell you calculation first. So how you're going to do it is you're going to keep your list of ruling planets up. Check out the video on ruling planets if you need some support with that. Then you're going to look at the planets in each sign in your chart. You're just going to list them all out. Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Scorpio, Uranus in Scorpio. My chart's very easy to deal with, right? But you're going to list them all out. And then you're going to note the ruling planet of that sign. Mars rules Scorpio, right? So when you're figuring out the final dispositor, you don't have to go in order. You don't have to start somewhere. You don't have to start with the ascendant. Of course, I like to go in order, but you don't have to because it's all going to boil down to one common denominator, and you're just going to follow the chain of rulership. So you're going to start with a planet. You're going to find the planet that rules the sign that that one is in, and you're going to check where that ruling planet is placed, and you're just going to keep going. So let me show you what that looks like. This is my chart. So if you start with the sun in Scorpio, the ruling planet of Scorpio is Mars. So where is Mars, right? It's in Sagittarius. So Mars in Sagittarius. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So where is Jupiter? Jupiter's in Libra. Okay. Venus rules Libra. So where is Venus? Right here in Libra, and that's in her home sign. And so we can't go any further. We stop. That's the final dispositor. It's the last one. There's nowhere else to go because because Venus rules Libra, right? So we can look at it in another lens. Neptune, let's start with Neptune and Sagittarius. Neptune and Sag, what rules Sagittarius? Jupiter. Where's Jupiter? In Libra. What rules Venus? What rules Libra? Venus. So Venus in Libra is still our common denominator. If we started with Saturn in Libra, we would just say, okay, Venus rules Libra. It's right next door. Venus in Libra. There's nowhere else to go. So my chart shows that Venus in Libra is the final dispositor, the common denominator, no matter where you start. If you started with any of these planets in Scorpio, right? You would know that Mars rules Scorpio, and it would take you down this track the same way. Mars is in Sag, Jupiter's in Libra, Venus is in Libra. And the same thing with Sagittarius. If you started with either Mars or Neptune, both in Sagittarius, it would lead you back up to Jupiter because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, right? If you started with any of the planets in Libra, it would take you back to Venus in Libra. Okay. So is there anything that makes a dispositor really, really strong? Yes. And my chart's a good example of that. Okay. It's the ascendant ruler. Mine's not, right? Jupiter rules my ascendant. Is it in an angular house? Yes, mine's in the 10th house. Is it part of a stellium? Yes, it is. Mine's part of a little Libra stellium over here. Is it in the same sign with the moon, ascendant, or sun, but not combusting? Mine is not, right? My sun and moon are in Scorpio, my ascendant's in Sag. Is it in conjunction with the beneficial fixed star? Yes and no. Mine has a beneficial and an unfortunate fixed star. And is it in direct motion? Yes, because it's all in white font here. So the red font indicates retrograde, but Venus is not retrograde at the time of my birth. So the fixed stars add nuance. You guys know that I create a digital astrology calendar, and in the 2025 model is the first time I started using fixed stars in the forecast. So the fixed star nuance is that diadem is very close by, and Vendimetrix is very close by, and so there can be some added nuance to my chart because my final dispositor is on top of two fixed stars. Kind of interesting. One fortunate, one unfortunate. Very Libra, right? Very balanced, very harmonious. So I mentioned in the beginning that there can be many final dispositors. So if you end up with two, you're going to have two CEOs in charge of the chart, two core values that are equally strong. So the example here is if we've got Venus in Libra and Mercury in Virgo, right? It has to be in their home signs, right? Then that person is going to either be pulled in two directions or use them equally well. So it's part of their life story will come through relationships and communication and the balancing of those two themes, right? We can also have no final dispositor. So if you get through the end of your chart and you're like, wait a minute, I don't have one. It's okay. You're not alone. The chart has some other answer for you, and maybe you don't need a final dispositor, right? So you're going to have to balance a lot of different energies in a lot of different ways. It's really interesting once you start seeing this in your clients and in your friends and family and all the people that you love and that you're studying with. Okay, that was my last slide. I just want to say quickly that you can use final dispositors in forecasting as well. So you can use it in client work, you can use it for your own natal chart, your own study, and then you can also use it in forecasting. So I hope this has been useful, a fun little way to add complexity and just really like a interest to the way that you are looking at your chart and you're looking at your forecasting tools. Again, I'm Tiffany, and my channel offers astrology training for spiritual development students. I'm glad you're here. I've got some resources for you, a couple of blog posts that may be helpful for you in the description. And thank you for being here. Namaste.